bureaucracy, improving efficiency, and modernizing public services, then we must also modernize our identity and civil registration services are delivered. Mr. Speaker, over the past year, NERA has been quietly building the foundation for that transformation, and we are now starting to see meaningful results. First, I'd like to announce today that NERA is Jamaica's newest 24/7 online act service. It is now among the first government services to provide 24/7 online access to all of its essential services, whether you're at home, overseas, in the diaspora, or in your office. Jamaicans can now complete urgently needed transactions online, including applications for document recovery, birth certificates, death certificates, identification card applications, marriage certificates, renewals, and many more. These services deliver real and meaningful benefits to citizens by reducing administrative delays in critical areas such as school admissions, visa applications, bank loan approvals, insurance claims, and access to countless other essential services that Jamaicans depend on every day. For businesses and institutions, these innovations create a stronger, more secure foundation for efficiency by enabling faster onboarding of employees and customers, improving identity verification, and strengthening fraud prevention measures.
Welcome to YouTube.
Secondly, I'd like to highlight NERA's post-Hurricane Melissa document recovery program.
Great.
Mr. Speaker, disasters have a cruel way of taking from people what they cannot easily replace. When someone loses a birth certificate, marriage certificate, deed code, they can lose access to jobs, banking services, healthcare, education, and even government support. That is why NERA operationalized a national document recovery program following Hurricane Melissa to provide rapid support to affected Jamaicans. To date, NERA has processed 47,562 document recovery applications, helping thousands of Jamaicans rebuild their lives in the aftermath of disaster. Importantly, 856 of our most vulnerable citizens receive these essential services free of cost.
I almost gave up on my sex life at 58.
Ensuring that compassion, dignity, and national support reach those who needed it most. And Mr. Speaker, recognizing that hardship does not end with hurricanes, this vital program has now been permanently institutionalized to support Jamaicans impacted by fires, floods, and other emergencies. This means that in times of crisis, citizens will continue to have reliable access.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. A long time we said we're coming for YouTube, and we are here, we are setting up, and we are making the schedule. Right, so we'll be here at least twice a week, presenting information, presenting positive things about Jamaica, and giving people another aspect of what is happening in Jamaica. Majority of the people over here who live in the diaspora, who sits down on YouTube every day, preach the doom and gloom, tell you how Jamaica is burning, and all negative. Well, I am not here to tell you that Jamaica is paradise or that Jamaica is a utopia where people sit down and play harp and sing every day. No, that's not Jamaica. Jamaica is a little country that has its own problem, but we are working our way through it. Is everything in the country peachy and rosy? No. Are we trying our best? Yes. Will we get there soon? Yes. Right. So for now, we're going to focus on our remarks.
To critical document recovery services, strengthening national resilience, and ensuring that no Jamaican is left behind. Access is available 24/7 at nero.gov.jm. And just to share with you, this weekend, I was in Negril and Councillor Miller called that there was a fire in the family in the constituency. Their residence was totally burned down, 8 families affected. So I went to visit. And in all the distress that they were sharing, the one that was most problematic for the most elderly person was the fact that his pension book was gone and all his documents. And so while we were able to provide immediate support, what gave me the most pleasure was that I could share that the documents will be replaced, and Minister Charles, I know the pension book will also be replaced. So this program is having, for me, real and immediate impact. Mr. Speaker, an identification services outreach was piloted in my constituency, and now we are ready to expand to all 62 other constituencies. Members of Parliament, you'd have received an email invitation to indicate your willingness to participate in the program. I thank you all for who have responded. Mr. Speaker, the National Identification Card Project has also purchased mobile units that will be used for the constituency outreach programs aimed at bringing government services closer to the people. The mobile units will be ready for June 2026. This is what it means to be a people-centered government. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to highlight the expansion of NERA's National Identification Card Enrollment Centers. Over the past month, NERA has expanded significantly beyond the one location that was there previously at the Central Sorting Office in Kingston. National identification services are now being rolled out in Montego Bay, St. Anne's Bay, Port Antonio, Maypen, Santa Cruz, Mandeville, Twickenham Park, Portmore, and downtown Kingston. These locations are scheduled to be fully operational by the end of this month. The Savannah Lamar Registrar General's Department office was destroyed during Hurricane Melissa. Member from Central Westmoreland. In response, a new location is currently being renovated at the Savannah Lamar Post Office, which reopening scheduled for mid-July 2026. The new location is configured to provide both civil registration and national identification services, as well as a modern post office banking hall. You nearly missed it, you know.
Give us a follow, give us a share.
So, Mr. Speaker, in addition to Savannah Lamar, many other post offices are presently being renovated by NERA to provide both civil registration and national identification services. By July 2026, the service centers at Brownstown, Spalding, Oteria, St. Anne's Bay, Falmouth, Lucy, Santa Cruz, and Montego Bay are scheduled for completion. Let me now highlight the few priority areas for the next phase and integration of the National Identification Card.
Well, let me take a break from Algebra YouTube and give for a while. Good old Tina times. Good afternoon, Tina. Right. Now, one of the biggest thing going around right now, and we all have to pay attention to it, is the concerted effort to disrespect, malign, not the person who is Speaker at the House, but the office of Speaker at the House. The Speaker of the House is not a person, it's an office. The Prime Minister is not a person, it's an office. When you hold these offices, the office itself commands a certain level of respect. And whether or not you like the person holding this office, you have to give the respect that the office is due. Now, over the years, I think we have had one female speaker before. I don't, yeah, but I think we had one. But now we have 2 consecutive female speakers at the House. First it was Marissa Dalrymple. Now it is Juliet Holness. And there is an effort to belittle, malign, disrespect, and do everything to the office, but accord it the respect that it is deserved. I see now Nikisha Burchell has taken it on herself to every person that puts her mic to her mouth, she have to dish out some level of respect to the Speaker of the House. So much so that she now gone to Mrs. Holness' yard, go talk about husband and controlling husband. But my message to Nikisha Burchell is simply this. In order to control a husband, you have to first get one. In order to control a husband, Nikisha Burchell, you have to first get one. And your inability to get a husband is why you feel the need to criticize somebody. For all you know, the rule of marriage is that the wife must control the husband, but you don't know that because you have not been able, despite the amount of money where you apparently spend in the body workshop, I fix up this and I fix up that, you still can attract a husband. So you don't have the right to comment on how husbands are to be treated, since you lack the ability to get one for yourself. In fact, you are so much so in looking that you tell yourself, say you hear rumors, say you there with somebody else's husband. The thing is, get one for yourself if you want to criticize how husbands are treated. You are not at that level yet to face it with the Speaker of the House, right? And if the opposition leader, Mark Golden, is to be taken serious, then he needs to put an end to this because he is the one who started it. They are following his lead. And a time will come when there will be a PMP government, when the PMP will choose a speaker, and the office of the speaker must be respected regardless of who hold it. Now, this is a correction I've often had to give to people when I say, Juliet Holness, the wife of the Prime Minister, is not the Speaker of the House. There is no such person recognized in the House of Parliament. Members of Parliament are recognized. Therefore, the member from East Rural St. Andrew, the member from East Rural St. Andrew, a duly elected parliamentarian serving her third consecutive term, is the Speaker of the House, right? Is the Speaker of the House. And what I challenge anybody to do, any comrade, I challenge you, come here to me and give me one rule, one single rule that she has broken since becoming Speaker of the House. Just one single rule I'm asking for that she has broken since becoming Speaker of the House. Just one. The only thing she demands in her position as Speaker that she should and have the right to is that the rules are adhered to, the standing orders are followed. These are not hard to ask. We are not dealing with children. We are dealing with grown adults. Parliament is not a basic school classroom or a primary school classroom. We are dealing with adults who represents our country. Now, again, I will say this, as rambunctious as our parliament is, as someone who follow politics around the world, I follow politics around the world. I don't just follow Jamaican politics. I follow politics in many countries because I love politics. I can tell you, when it comes to behaving, our parliament is probably one of the most well-behaved in the world. Yes. As much as you see them get cantankerous and rambunctious in there sometimes, our parliament is possibly one of the best behaving parliaments in the world. But debates are supposed to be robust. Debates are supposed to be robust, or debates are supposed to be challenging. But what is wrong with our parliament is that people tend to attempt to tear down the institutions, namely the office of the Speaker of the House. It is a position that is recognized in our Constitution. And again, the Speaker is not a person, it's an office. And whoever, somebody on YouTube named Brave said conflict of interest. I would love to know the conflict of interest. Tell me the conflict of interest, because I don't know it. Maybe Brave 876 can teach me something today. Now, the job of the Speaker of the House is simple to maintain that the rules are followed. The Speaker cannot pass any law. The Speaker cannot ban anybody from, well, you can ban somebody, but you have to break the rule. The Speaker's job is simply to maintain law and order during a sitting. So I don't see the conflict of interest. Do you think the Speaker can tell Mark Golden to get up and give Andrew Wallace his seat? No. No such thing happen. Give me a rule that the Speaker has broken since ascending to the chair. Just simply brave out, just a conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is not a rule. I ask for a rule. Just give me a rule, right? There is not none. All she asks is that the rules be adhered to. That is not too much to ask of grown men. It shouldn't be too much to ask. And now the attack on the office is now coordinated. It used to be the men, but now they realize, oh, look away, you know, so them send out the woman them. Yes, the woman them. It started with Angela Brown Burke. But people tell her she should know better. So guess what? She passed it on to one of the newcomers who don't know better about the rules of parliament, but should know better about governance. Even me, not a parliamentarian, obviously know more about the rules and operation of parliament than some of these young people who just go in there where they go sit down. And that is simple, the facts, right? So even in our disagreement, we have to show respect to offices. I have never had a situation in Jamaica where the office of the Prime Minister has been so disrespected like we have now. We have never had it before. Not even back in the 70s did we ever have the office of the Prime Minister being disrespected like we have now. And I agree that, yes, they are public figures and they're going to come under attack. But attack is different from disrespect. And majority of the persons that are showing the disrespect have no clue why they are doing it. They're just following somebody else. Have absolutely not a clue. If you ask anybody why they might do something. Now, here is Brave 876 on YouTube telling me it's conflict of interest. I ask, what is the conflict? I know Brave can't give me an answer yet. What's the conflict? I ask for an example. Give me a rule that she has broken since taking the seat. No one can give me one. I've been asking for one rule for months now, maybe over a year. Nobody can present it. Even in our disagreements, we have to show respect for the institutions that govern us. And what we have is an opposition party today in Jamaica that is hell-bent on tearing down every institution that guide our democracy. Them tell you, say, don't believe the police figures. The police, they might tell you lie. Murders are not done. They might tell you, say, don't believe the Bank of Jamaica. We don't have no international. Every institution. They might tell you, say, don't believe statin. The unemployment rate is not low. Don't believe the PIOJ. Don't believe the tourist board. Every institution that governs. But remember, you know, these are the same institutions. These are the same institutions that we get the bad news from. It was the police that used to give us the figures. It was the police that used to give us the figures back when crime was on the increase, when murders was clocking 17, 18, 1700 per year. We used to get these figures from the police. They used to put out these figures. And the same people used to hold them up, run with them, run with these figures. But now that the figures has changed, we are doing much better. They are telling you now, don't believe these people. When unemployment was at an all-time high, 15, 16%, it was the same institution that used to give that news to us. And the same people used to lift up that and run with it. See, the government needs to do something. But now that the government has done something, and these institutions are giving us the same news, we are no longer to believe them. There is a group on YouTube, right over YouTube here. Them sits here every day for hours. Back in 2015, 16, 17, way up to 2020. They used to tell you how they have the answer to Jamaica's crime problem. Yeah. In fact, them write a letter and send to the government that we have the answer, you have to employ us. The government didn't employ them. And their urgency of the matter was based on the numbers that the JCF was putting out. Now, the government sat down, they've made the investment in the JCF, and now we are bearing the fruit. And these same people, the Rattigan, me forget the rest of the brown paper bag crew. They used them, Rattigan and the crew, yes, Peter, thank you. They used to sit down every day and they used to run with the number from the JCF. But now that the improvement is coming, the figures are lower. They are saying, oh, we don't believe the JCF all of a sudden. All of a sudden, the JCF not good enough. These are the same numbers that they use, to lead protests right across the United States. When the JCF numbers were up, they went to Florida, New York, Washington to protest. And don't forget, so then they did in New York, I trample the flag. Yes, they went to New York and they protest. Because the numbers that the JCF was giving them was out of control and it was shocking, and then they believe. But now that we have provided over 3 consecutive years of decline, the most major one being 2025, when we saw 44% reduction. In 2025, for the first time in 31 years, that's a generation, we saw below 1,000 murder. For the first time. But all of a sudden, the numbers coming from the JCF is not good enough. We not listen to them, them a tell lie. But when the numbers were high, they weren't lying. These people want us to sit down, they are hypocrites. They are people who want to sit in the diaspora and run Jamaica. There are people that believe that through them live overseas, they know better. But Jamaica have proven them wrong. We had a police commissioner that was trained, educated, bred, taught, come through the ranks of the JCF, and is now one of the most successful police commissioners since 1989. Since 1989, he is the most successful police commissioner. Never need one so-called former FBI agent. No, we never need him. And that is what makes them bitter. That is what makes them bitter. Them come and hear them tell lie. And when you talk to them or talk about them run to lawyers because them love to sue. Yeah, man, that's how them keep people from criticizing them. They love to sue. They can't stand up to people challenging them. So once you challenge them like to run to lawyer and them like to sue. But just like how you could lift up the negative numbers from the JCF and say, oh, the country is out of control. Well, lift up the positive one. And simply say, okay, you are doing good, but I believe if you try this, you could do a little better. I believe if you try this, you could do a little better than you are doing now. But no, but that's not how they work. Our tourism numbers are up. Despite them plastering the negative over, people are still coming. The international business community have more confidence in Jamaica today than at any other time because them see the work of a government. There is a post-FinSAC Jamaica being built. And there is no space in that Jamaica for the persons that created FinSAC. Most of them where you see are foreign, they sit down on YouTube every day, are people who run well with FinSAC, who grab up FinSAC and run left here. All them want is the government to come back and try to give them a FinSAC part 2. But people like Mark Golden and other them who were integral in the policies that led to FinSAC and is also a beneficiary of it. His company, DB&G, yes, there is evidence. Lots of evidence is there that they sat, they orchestrate, they implement, and they benefited from it. They are so confident about it now that Peter Bunting was confident enough to stand on the debate stage last year and say, oh, we made our money from FinSAC, so what? Yes, we made our money from FinSAC, so what? That's how confident they are about it now. These are the people that want back the reins. Hold on, I see Brave is back. Brave said the parliament of the land should not just be, not only perform the business of the people, but also operate in a way that does not cause unbalance or conflict of interest. Brave, I do not understand that statement. Hold on, let me put it up on the screen so if somebody can understand it for me. So if somebody can check Brave's statement and translate it for me. Brave, let me read again. The parliament of the land should not just only perform the business of the people. Then what else? That is the job of the parliament of the land, to perform the business of the people, but should operate in a way that does not cause unbalance. That's why you have a governing side and an opposition side. That alone is unbalanced, my friend. There is no balance in the parliament. Somebody has to be an unbalance so we can have a government break. Your statement does not make sense. That's why we have 63 seats. So there has to be an unbalance. There has to be an unbalance. That's how you have an opposition and a government. So your statement don't make sense. Again, give me a rule that Juliet Holness has broken since taking over as Speaker of the House. That's all I'm asking. None of this where I say yes, it don't make sense to me. None of this where I say don't make sense to me. Right? We have a parliament that is functioning the way it is supposed to. The problem, Brave, that you are supposed to be discussing about is the disrespect to the office of the Speaker. That should be your number one concern. That is my number one concern. The disrespect to the office. That is not only condoned by, but is led by the opposition leader. The man that is getting $25 million of taxpayers' money to do nothing. As my prime minister said, all he does is talk, oftentimes nonsense. Right? But I wasn't thinking so. Right? So all we have is people who sat at the table, taxed the Jamaican into oblivion. Brave again. It is not for this reason I think it is time for legislative action to make the office of the Speaker independent of a party. All right. Do me a favor, Brave. Me like this conversation now. Tell me where in the world, whether it be a democracy, whether it be the Westminster, whether it be the Republic, tell me a country in the world that has a speaker that is independent of the governing party. I mean, America has it in that system, but we're not under that system. And just for clarity, we could have been under a republic system where the speaker of the house could come from the other party. But guess what? Mark Golden is preventing all of that. But that does not work. Anywhere you go in the world, the speaker is from the ruling party, Virgin. Why must that? That's how Jamaica has been governing now for 64 years of independence. 64 years of independence. That's how we govern. The speaker come from the ruling party. Why is it that all of a sudden it needs to change? Why? Because guess what? A labor right. I only not like labor rights. I don't want to change all the rules. PJ Patterson was prime minister for 14 years. I have never heard that the prime minister have too much power. There has been only one man in the history of this country that has taken steps to reduce the power of the prime minister while he was prime minister, and that was Edward Philip George Seaga. Edward Philip George Seaga is the only man who, while in office, while he had every seat in the parliament, take steps to reduce the power of the prime minister. And that is the man where them teach you not to hate. Just not forgetting that them teach you not to hate him. Not because of what he did, but because of what he was going to do. So there you go, Brave. Brave, it is how it operates. What you must do is have people respect the office. If we have a speaker of the house that violate the rules, then we would demand action. If Juliet Holness violate the rules of the speaker's office, I will be on here demanding her removal. I will join with all of the comrade demand, but she have to violate the rules first. And so far, she has not done that. But let me go back to things. Thank you, Positive. Right? Just show me the rule where she break, and I will support you in having her removed. But it cannot be because, guess what, a labor right in an office, and guess what, none of the rules don't apply to labor right. PMP alone must rule this country, because guess what, only used to think this was PMP country. Not anymore. Not anymore. And unlike Funo thinking, I don't want this to be labor right country, you know. Labor right govern it so well, but me still don't want it to be labor right country. I want it to be Jamaican, and anybody that is tasked with governing it must do it in the best of their ability. And so far, Tam Tavares yesterday. All right, I will get it organized and see if I can play it. Right. If I could get it screen recorded and send, then I can probably play it. But for now, yeah. But that is what we need. Just respect the office itself. You know, I feel like who hold the office, you know. You know, I feel like who hold the office. When PJ was prime minister, I never liked him. But the office of the prime minister must be respected. And if people hear me as a Jamaican, I disrespect my prime minister, them are going to follow suit and believe them can do it. That's why you have so much people on TikTok and all over social media believe say who don't have a clue about Jamaica, believe say they can just turn on platform and disrespect. This morning, I saw a video, I think it was on Instagram, with police chasing a vehicle. There was a shootout, and I think the police, them, in my opinion, everybody in that vehicle was analyzed by the police. The caption of it was how police deal with people in Jamaica. Now, me looking at the video, two things. The sound of the siren alone make me know say it's not Jamaica. And when I look on the police car, I say, but that's not a Jamaican police car. This. But it was posted to put Jamaica in a negative light. Even when, and I have to comment and I have to comment and I tell the person, I say, Virgin, if you don't have anything to post about Jamaica, then don't post anything. And somebody else come and say, no, this happened in Trinidad about a month ago. So it's a Trinidad video they post and was giving, it's a Jamaica. That's how people think them have the right now to just log on to social media and do, because guess what? Them hear Jamaicans doing it. Them hear Jamaica, so-called Jamaicans. You have whole heap of them run left Jamaica and can't come back. Them over, some of them, they are foreign for 30 years and don't even have a passport. Then can't come back. And that is them problem. Them run here during the FinSac era. As me say, they are the FinSac people are now so confident. And yes, people, you're not going to hear me talk about FinSac a lot. I'm going to come and I'm going to run FinSac. FinSac is the albatross that held us back for 30 years. FinSac is the albatross around we neck we hold us back for 30 years. We couldn't fix road, we couldn't fix hospital, we couldn't fix school. People think of FinSac as a financial crisis, but that crisis affected every single aspect of our development, because if there is no money, you can't do nothing else. And FinSac robs us as 40% of our GDP. FinSac did what Hurricane Melissa did recently. FinSac did what Hurricane Melissa did. Except the FinSac also locked down 44,000 business. FinSac shut down 44,000 business. That is not a normal amount for a little country like Jamaica. 44,000 business shut down under FinSac, driving the unemployment rate to about 28% at one point. We have often spoken about Michael Manley instruction to the business community back in the 70s. And when he tell them that what? 5 flights a day, if you don't like what me I do, leave. The difference between that and what happened to FinSac is that they did not give the business community a chance to leave. They shut the door and they destroyed them. They destroyed them. That is the difference. 44,000 of them shut down, could not get anything. Who benefited from that? A little unknown company at the time was formed in 1992. Its name was Deering, Bunting, and Golding. That is the vehicle that was used to fuel, to channel, to transport taxpayers' money. That company, within 4 years, moved from a $1,000 company to $1 billion company. You know what they did? Government papers, nothing else. They never own a pin or an anchor in a Jamaica. We had, they learned, the bamboozled one little inept finance minister where we have. Force him to invest taxpayers' money into an entity. And listen, this me people who don't know. Our taxpayers' money went into an entity. We are going to look it up later. In the Billy Craig company that they tried to get solvent so that DB&G could buy it. And the taxpayers' money put up $350 million in that deal. The other party put up, I think, 52 million. But the other party ended up the majority shareholder. And to tell me, I'm not criminal like that. Taxpayers' money, $350 million thereabout. Mr. Perry over TikTok, I tell me, say it's been 30 years. The damage, Perry, the damage is still here. Yes. But the Jamaican government was the minority shareholder after putting up the bulk of the money. Tell me how that makes sense. And like I said, these people are now so confident. Remember 2 years ago, a couple of years ago, Mark Golding was on the platform telling us that the 90s was the best time in the history of this country. A time when we lost 40% of our GDP, when we lose 44,000 business, is deemed as the best time in this country. Tell me if that makes sense to anybody. Who was it best for? Now the people that benefit from it, the orchestrators, and them it benefit from. And them brave enough now to come and tell them very own supporters, Perry, soon come to you. Me over YouTube, yes. Big up yourself, YouTube people. Just share the live, tell a friend, bring a friend, make you grow the community. If you're on TikTok and you now follow me over YouTube, come over YouTube. Perry, you can come join me over YouTube, and I think they can invite you and you come join me, man. Come. You can come over here, come have the discussion. Just come over here, give us a follow, give us a share, make we build the community over here. Yeah, man, we are take the information over the piece. Yes, so that little known company moved from $1,000 company to $1 billion entity. $1 billion. And the back of the taxpayers. Now, one of the things I've been asking, when it was eventually sold, I don't know if the taxpayers get back any of that money that was put in. We have instances where one of the principals of DB&G was also the president of the Development Bank of Jamaica. And that entity then sold the National Steel Company to themselves. Sell it to themselves. And then people are come back to them and run Jamaica again here. Sold it to themselves. I think, if I'm not mistaken, them sell it to themselves for $4 shares. And then once the deal is complete, them sell it back for $11 per share. Don't hold me to the numbers. I could be wrong, but I soon get the right detail. But I mean, if you could get it sell for $11 a share, why you never sell it that way so the taxpayers of the country could benefit? And then people are come back. Say them want to run Jamaica. The man who dubbed himself the financial engineer at the time, Mark Golding. That is the Golden in there in Bunting and Golden. The man who dubbed himself the financial engineer is the man now that is seeking to lead this country. Now, there's a question I've always asked. Maybe somebody over here, over YouTube, can answer it finally. If that man and his team was able to create so much damage when all they had was the years of power, imagine what they can do when they are the ones whose signature matters. That is what we have to ask ourselves. If when they only had the years of power, They were able to destroy 44,000 business. They were able to, hey, listen. When I say that every single hotel, I want to imagine this. Every hotel, HR guru over TikTok, big up yourself. Every single hotel from Orchurious to Negril Point used to be owned and operated by a Jamaican. It used to be Fiwi, the money Tanya. When they get rich, so them get rich. How much of them is now owned by Jamaica? If Jamaica own 10% of them, now we own enough. This was as a result of FinSac. And everybody a ball. Oh yes, we stop talking about it now. No, we can never stop talking about it because the damage has already been done. And no matter how we build back stronger, we are still 30 to 40 years behind because of FinSac. No matter what we do, yes, we are doing good now. We are on a path. But these are the same people that is trying to derail that path. And if they are allowed to do it, then we are going to go back right where we were. There are several young people that are toying with the ideas. Yes, they might think about it, Boy, things rough there now, but me never really see what PMP government yet, so we want to see what one look like. Gentle people, as somebody who sat and watched them win 4 consecutive general elections, as somebody who watched them inherit a murder rate of 436 murders in 1989. 436 in 1989. That was the murder rate that they inherited. And by 2007, when the next change of administration took place, our murder rate went as high as 1,175 persons was where it climbed up to. 1,170. That is where it climbed to. Now, finally, after putting in the work, investing in the institution, rebuilding that was broken, we are once again, the Jamaica Labour Party in government is once again peeling back, attacking and beating back the monster. But you know what? All of a sudden, it is now fashionable in Jamaica to be a criminal. Say Haiti poor and Haiti do better than Jamaica in crime. Swade, I don't know if I agree with you that Haiti is doing better in crime. I don't know if I agree with that statement. Haiti is in the middle of a civil war right now, so no, they're not doing better. Haiti government collapsed quite a few times, so they're not doing better. Yes, we are helping them to rebuild, but I don't know if I agree that they're not doing better. No, not Haiti. No, we are not that bad. We were bad, but we weren't Haiti bad, Swade. Honestly, Swade, honestly, we were bad, but we weren't Haiti bad. So no, I don't think I agree with that. But we are putting the work. When the Jamaica Labour Party took office, there were a little below 8,000 members. Swain said, why I say that Jamaicans are evil? Well, there are some evil people live here for true, Swain. I agree. I give you that. I give you that, right? But I don't think. I think the constabulary has done a lot in fighting back, in taking back Jamaica from these people. And yes, some cans were mashed in the process. Whole heap of people get mashed up in the process. But is it the fault? The USA killed a Jamaican this week and killed his wife. You heard about that? No, I don't think I heard about it in Australia. I didn't hear about it. I didn't hear about it. Or the lethal injection. Wow. Right. But I wish we could return to that too, where we can have our public execution for these people. Some of these people, they act like them profound. They never go sit down in a nobody jail and eat my taxpaying money. Then they never do that. Maybe I remember a couple of years ago, you know, a senior police officer said to me, he said, listen to me, young man. He said, no, most of them people here. He said, some of them people here, police lock them up every day. But when we lock them up, nobody now come a court can testify against them. So 2 weeks later, we have to let them out. And them go back and commit the same crime where them always commit. In order to put a stop to them, and he said, may I be honest, some of them, you can't lock them up. When you find them, you have to kill them. Excuse me language, TikTok. When you find them, that's what you have to do. Did you know that Jamaica can do? Yes, of course we can. Of course we can, Swain. I agree 100%. You just have a whole heap of people that is foreign-minded. Them believe, say, unless it's white. Yeah, man, I know what you mean without. Unless it's white or it come from America, it's not good. Because guess what? There was a time in our country when that's how we were taught. That unless it come from America, it's not good. But I believe we are wiser now. We have grown. And we are people who are making better decisions. It started even with our athletes who decide, say, make we train at home. And when they were training at home, we were dominating the world. So people are now realizing that, hey, Jamaica is good enough. But you still have some people who sit down on social media every day and tear down the country. I am convinced you have some people on social media, both YouTube, TikTok. If them when them turn on them phone a man in time and them don't say Jamaica they on fire, they are disappointed. Yes. So that's all them look. Them get up and them search for the if them see a video of a policeman helping an old lady to cross the road, them scroll past that. But them is a police analyze one criminal, and the worst thing in this, that's what them share. You have people are like that on social media. Many of them are paid. Many of them are paid to only come on here and tell lie and spread all sort of rumor upon the country where them claim say them love. Again, I speak of the video that happened in Trinidad. But it was posted under the caption, what happened in Jamaica. Now, somebody watching that and is not, in tune like me or other persons, we can pick up right away and say, but no, this is not Jamaica. Because just the sound of the siren alone tell me, say Jamaica siren have the long sound, the other country them have the short one. Them, so for me here, that I say I know Jamaica siren that. When me look on the police car, I know Jamaica police car that. The dressing of the police officers are the same. They were wearing the denim. They were wearing the denim. The dressing is the same. Let the court, then the court have to go decide. And the court decide these things brave. They were wearing the denim. But then everything else, you could tell the difference. The area could also pass as Jamaica. It looked like it's a ghetto, like it's a little garrison. So the area could also pass. But is the details will make you know. But them post it as a Jamaica. They say Jamaica it happened. When I'm not Jamaica. And it was a Jamaican that did it. It was a Jamaican that did it. What was the mission there? To try to post their country in a bad light. No, I will never sit here and tell anybody that our country is perfect. No, we country not perfect. We country have a whole heap of issues. We have a long way to go. We are not utopia. We are not Atlantis. But we are not hell either. We are far away. We are closer to Atlantis than we are to hell. But if you listen to some people, you will never learn that. You have every one of them where you look at the videos on here and they are set as clickbait, the worst headline. And if you don't know better, you go click on it to find out if it's true, if I saw it go. That's how them get you, with the clickbait. But we, people like me, who genuinely love this country, who genuinely want better for it, have to give up my time in order to try to balance the information that is out there. So from time to time, when you tune into me here, I'll be live here. I am not the greatest at the editing of the video, so I can't really create the videos and edit them as some people can. I don't have that skill. But from time to time, I will be here live giving you the information as I know it. From time, I will be here giving you the information as I know it. When something is good, we talk about it. If it is bad, we talk about it. But Jamaica, best country on earth, Swain. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe it wholeheartedly is the best country on earth. Just like every mango tree or every apple tree, we have a couple rotten apple, a couple rotten mango, we bear every time, but it's not the whole tree. The thing is what we have media company that only highlights the bad stuff. Good news don't make headline in Jamaica. I've traveled, I've seen human interest stories making headline in newspaper. You don't see that in Jamaica. Because even our news agencies, the largest one in the Caribbean, is run by the best friend of the man who is opposition leader. And that news entity is doing its utmost best to tear down the country. Can you guys, I don't know how much are you here, I've not visited Jamaica in a while, but imagine a country that saw, how can we make Jamaica? Why sweet? That's a very interesting question, I wish I could answer you. There was a time when we did, and we might be able to return here, but it's not something you can teach, it's something you have to have naturally. Now, how can you imagine you live in a country that is experiencing a 45% reduction in murders in 1 year, one single year, 45%. And you have never seen a headline in your major newspaper depicting that? Somebody tell me there's something wrong with that. 45% reduction in murder in 1 year. And there is not a headline in our major newspaper depicting that. Statin announced a 50% reduction in poverty. 50%. There is not a headline in our major newspaper depicting that. The lowest unemployment rate in our history, 3.5%, I think it is. There has never been a headline in our newspaper depicting that. That is the problem that Jamaicans are facing. Lack of information. They're not being informed. That's what is happening. The government in the last couple of years has reshaped how the student loan bureau works. That's not in the news. That's not in the news. The government in the last 3 years has given out over $2.5 billion in scholarship to send young people to, and when I say that now, I'm talking about just the Ministry of Health alone. $2.5 billion in scholarship. You don't see that in the major newspaper. For the past 3 years, over 600 students has been getting scholarship to go study medicine. That's not in the major newspaper. But if the Prime Minister, excuse my language here, people on TikTok we used to it, but YouTube not used to it yet. If the Prime Minister ever shit on a wipe him body, that is the headline. That is the headline. That's how they operate. That's how the news operate in our country. Our news organization is so dirty that a reporter was able to go to a press conference. And the question that was posed is if the minister was fucking somebody other than his wife. That is an actual question posed to a minister at a press conference, you know, if he might fuck somebody different than his wife. After Melissa, another reporter went to a press conference and tell the government, say, I don't see any Dranko in the sky flying around. Can you get some Dranko for us? Because even the lack of Dranko, them blame the government for. But them never realized that the fact that they not see no Dranko was a good thing. The country was so clean that there was no need for Dranko flying around. But even something as natural as that, Brave and line I tell you, I see you singing a Brave. Even something as natural as that, they wanted to blame the government. That's how our news media work. That's how our people is suffering from a lack of information. When did all this start? It took a turn for the worse in 2020. Now, Jamaican media has always been pro-PMP. Them always love it. But it took a turn for the worse when Mark Golding took over the PNP. And his best friend took over the largest media conglomerate in the Caribbean. And it took a turn for the worse at that time. It was after that that I become concerned about our democracy. We have Jamaica have the greatest democracy in the world, bar none. No country. I said this many times. We have had election where at the end of the count, there was a 1 seat difference between both parties, 1 single seat. And we had a seamless transfer of power. 1 seat different, more than one occasion. But now when I look at this man, who say him is opposition leader, if under his run, we have a 1 seat majority at the end of an election, I think we're going to be in problem because this man is power hungry. Not for leadership, you know, for power. Not for leadership, for power. And under his what I am worried. Leading up to 2020, our media was not balanced. The coverage was unfair. But it was not as one-sided as it is now. It is not as one-sided as it is now. Now we have had several scandals involving members of the PMP, sitting members of parliament, sitting mayors, sitting councillors. You don't see these things. You don't see these things on the Gleaner. Because the policy of the Gleaner today is nothing positive about the government, nothing negative about the opposition. That's their policy. That's how they are working. No negative story must make the front page about the opposition. No positive story about the government. And that's how it is running right now. Right? But that's why you have people like me. And there's a good team of us. We're all over. We're on TikTok every day. We give up with time. We give up with energy to inform the Jamaican people that even though our country is not perfect, it is not on fire. The manufactured scandal going around right now is that, government has spent money too slow. And I want you guys to think of that in the context of what Jamaican politics used to be. That we had a disaster. We had a suspension of somebody. We had an emergency spending regime where government could have spent money. But they did a real-time audit. And none of the money was missing. Think of that in the concept of Jamaican politics. That is something we should be celebrating. That is something we should be celebrating. Right? But guess what? In the largest media conglomerate, these are negative things that the government knows about all of the money there. When we have a man where I use KSAMC money and I grill up himself. I grill up him back and as him put it. But as me say, our job, my job, my other friends, all of we, and I know we're going to come on YouTube eventually, you know, is to give you the balance. Listen to me. While we are not perfect, we have a lot of things going on. The government is doing its part. The government is building. The question we're being asked about what to the container house of the government, they say are coming 6 months. The government announced a couple of days ago that they had over 3,000 container houses in the island. 3,000 of them there. But guess what? The PNP controlled municipality that should be in charge of laying the foundation for them has not been doing their job. But we don't see that. We don't see that on the news. We're not going to see that on the news, you know. We're not going to see that on the news because guess what? That is not the job of the news. The job of the news is to try to distort whatever is happening. So even though the government is being frugal, very frugal with our money, that is now the scandal. I have never seen a scandal where the scandal is that the government is too careful with the money. So people in the diaspora, when you don't hear these things, you don't have to question it. How is it a scandal that the government is being frugal with the money? That's why you don't have to be weary of the persons that want power. Under their regime, that money would done long time and we don't know where it go. And I mean, I guess that me sure of that. Under their regime, many of the social media warriors where you sit down on YouTube every day would have fly one come collect them brown paper bag. Dr. Shaba over TikTok, I know that. Them would have fly one come collect them brown paper bag long time. But them can't do it under Andrew Holness. Right? Somebody said to me one day that very rare a country get what is called a revolutionary leader. A leader that when him done, you will not recognize the country. We have that in Andrew Holness. We have that in Andrew Holness. And we, myself, and anybody who will listen to me, we can't allow them to tear down this man, to tear down the government that we have, the hardest working administration in the last 45 years. The hardest working administration. And this concept is a debate that I will take with anyone. The hardest working administration in the last 45 years. None work harder. If we want to find a more harder working administration, we have to go back to Edward Philip George Siaga of 1980s. Yes, we have to, that's how far back we have to go. That's how far back we have to go if we want to find an administration that is working. The administration that started the period of Reconstruction. The administration that built back this country after the devastation of the 70s. That administration, this administration of Andrew Holness, is Edward Siaga administration and steroids. When we bring in persons like Audrey Marks is another gem that was picked out of the rut. Big up yourself, Paul. As another gem that was picked out of the rut by Andrew Holness. He, the man who gave us Nigel Clark, the man who gave us Fable Williams, has now brought us Ambassador Audrey Marks. The man that turned a Duncan into a JLP senator, the man who bring your Keith Duncan as a JLP senator is the man who now give us Audrey Marks. Audrey Marks is leading the most transformative ministry in this country, and that is why I was playing this. I want to go from the beginning again, because this little section here is when I come back probably tomorrow. As so much stress me, I forgot you to find. Sorry, Jamaican, yeah, me there. I want to broadcast our entire speech in the parliament, but I have to do it this way. So but want to listen to this little part here for me, please.
What allows people to access jobs, banking services, healthcare, government services, and economic opportunity. If we are serious about reducing bureaucracy, improving efficiency, and modernizing public services, then we must also modernize our identity and civil registration services are delivered. Mr. Speaker, over the past year, NERA has been quietly building the foundation for that transformation, and we are now starting to see meaningful results. First, I'd like to announce today that NERA is Jamaica's newest 24/7 online act service. It is now among the first government services to provide 24/7 online access to all of its essential services.
All right, Jamaican,
overseas, in the diaspora, or in your office. Jamaicans.
As I said, if you're not following me on YouTube, just hop over to YouTube, give us a follow. Same name, Chuck Finley 34 on YouTube.
Can now compete, and complete urgently needed transactions online, including applications for document recovery, birth certificates, death certificates, identification card applications, marriage certificates, renewals, and many more. These services deliver real and meaningful benefits to citizens by reducing administrative delays in critical areas such as school admissions, visa applications, bank loan approvals, insurance claims, and access to countless other essential services that Jamaicans depend on every day. For businesses and institutions, these innovations create a stronger, more secure foundation for efficiency by enabling faster onboarding of employees and customers, improving identity verification, and strengthening fraud prevention measures. Secondly, I'd like to highlight NERA's post-Hurricane Melissa document recovery program. Mr. Speaker, disasters have a cruel way of taking from people what they cannot easily replace. When someone loses a birth certificate, marriage certificate, deed code, they can lose access to jobs, banking services, healthcare, education, and even government support. That is why NERA operationalized a national document recovery program following Hurricane Melissa to provide rapid support to affected Jamaicans. To date, NERA has processed 47,562 document recovery applications, helping thousands of Jamaicans rebuild their lives in the aftermath of disaster. Importantly, 856 of our most vulnerable citizens receive these essential services free of cost.
I almost gave up on my sex life at 58.
Ensuring that compassion, dignity, and national support reach those who needed it most. And Mr. Speaker, recognizing that hardship does not end with hurricanes, this vital program has now been permanently institutionalized to support Jamaicans impacted by fires, floods, and other emergencies. This means that in times of crisis, citizens will continue to have reliable access to critical document recovery services, strengthening national resilience and ensuring that no Jamaican is left behind. Access is available 24/7 at nero.gov.jm. And just to share with you, this weekend, I was in Negril and Councillor Miller called that there was a fire in with the family in the constituency. Their residence was totally burned down, 8 families affected. So I went to visit. And in all the distress that they were sharing, the one that was most problematic for the most elderly person was the fact that his pension book was gone and all his documents. And so while we were able to provide immediate support, what gave me the most pleasure was that I could share that the documents will be replaced, and Minister Charles, I know the pension book will also be replaced. So this program is having, for me, real and immediate impact. Mr. Speaker, an identification services outreach was piloted in my constituency, and now we are ready to expand to all 62 other constituencies. Members of Parliament, you would have received an email invitation to indicate your willingness to participate in the program. I thank you all for who have responded. Mr. Speaker, the National Identification Card Project has also purchased mobile units that will be used for the constituency outreach programs aimed at bringing government services closer to the people. The mobile units will be ready for June 2026. This is what
So Audrey Marks is bringing government service to you.
It means to be a people-centered government. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to highlight the expansion of NERA's National Identification Card Enrollment Centers. Over the past month, NERA has expanded significantly beyond the one location that was there previously at the Central Sorting Office in Kingston. National identification services are now being rolled out in Montego Bay, St. Anne's Bay, Port Antonio, Maypen, Santa Cruz, Mandeville, Twickenham Park, Portmore, and downtown Kingston. These locations are scheduled to be fully operational by the end of this month. The Savannah Lamar Registrar General's Department office was destroyed during Hurricane Melissa. Member from Central Westmoreland. In response, a new location is currently being renovated at the Savannah Lamar Post Office, which reopening is scheduled for mid-July 2026. The new location is configured to provide both civil registration and national identification services, as well as a modern post office banking hall. You nearly missed it, you know. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, in addition to Savannah Lamar, many other post offices are presently being renovated by NERA to provide both civil registration and national identification services. By July 2026, the service centers at Brownstown, Spalding, Oteria, St. Anne's Bay, Falmouth, Lucy, Santa Cruz, and Montego Bay are scheduled for completion. Let me now highlight the few priority areas for the next phase and integration of the national identification card as proof that a person is licensed to drive. Mr. Speaker, the government is advancing legislative changes to allow the national ID card to serve as a legal proof that a person is licensed to drive. This means Jamaicans with a national ID card will be able to renew their driver's license fully online without needing to print or collect a separate physical license every 5 years. Mr. Speaker, another innovation from NERA will be instant services. By the end of this financial year, NERA will begin introducing instant services to civil registration documents. Today, many Jamaicans must apply for documents, wait for processing, and then return another day for collection. Under this new model, one visit, one transaction, same-day documents.
One visit, one transaction, same day document. One visit, one transaction, same day document. When me say Audrey is another gem, Audrey, Audrey is a gem. Somebody said Dana Maris Dixon, also another gem. This is the kind of leadership we have built. People who, Audrey Marks told a story in her presentation where she said, 2 years ago when she was the ambassador, she brought a group of, Marlon Morgan, Nesta Morgan, Floyd Green, rock stars. She brought a group of investors to Jamaica. Fly them out, gonna open my little business, and she fly out with them, pop in 2 days, get the thing done. And when she come here, the people, the simplest act of opening a bank account could not be done in 1 day. Could not be done in 1 day. And she's back now with a vengeance to improve all the problem that she saw. You know how convenient it would be long ago if we could vehicle registration online, license application online. You know, most people dread if you go sit down a tax office for an entire day to get things done. Audrey Marks is leading probably the most transformative ministry we have. Audrey Marks is leading that. Audrey Marks is leading that. And at the end of it, that's birthday, the woman from Gale in St. Mary. And at the end of her tenure, we're going to be looking at and say, boy, Andrew Holness, you really know if you pick them. This is the same one that picked out Nigel Clark out of nowhere. When we say Omalo there, so we can say this. Giving us the greatest finance minister we've ever had. Nobody saw Nigel Clark but Andrew Holness. In fact, there's a whole heap of labor right. I will not say if I was one of them who was questioning where this man come from a jump in. And he turned out to be a gem. Kamina Johnson Smith. When Kamina took over, Jamaica had visa-free access to, I think it was 79 countries we had visa-free access to. 79 under the previous administration. Under Kamina Johnson Smith, Jamaica passport can get you to over 130 countries visa-free. Under Kamina Johnson Smith, over 130 countries you can enter visa-free. So these little gems, when we pick them out, Apply Green, Nesta Morgan, these are people who have contributions to make. And possibly one of the greatest achievements of Andrew Holness administration. Yes, JLP for like Matthew Samuda one of the greatest achievement as a labor right administration was to get Senator Keith Duncan as a labor rights senator. If you know Jamaican politics, you know the Duncan name. DK Duncan. And to get Ed Duncan to choose to sit on the Jamaica Labour Party side is not a small task. Keith Duncan was the man who piloted the first Jamaica debt exchange to the business community. He was the one who sat with his peers and explained to them the importance of buying into the first debt exchange. He did that. And I've always yes, JLP for life over TikTok. I've always made the comparison between his position, yes, and EPA. Good point. Because up until recently, I've always thought EPAC was an idea from the People's National Party, but it was not. Keith Duncan has enlightened us recently that it was the business community that approached the government to set up EPAC. Yes. So even now, even with Mark Gold in comparison now, is that when Mark Gold had the opportunity to be the liaison between the government and the business community, he used that to enrich himself and to destroy 40,000 business. That's how that was used under his tenure. We see Keith Duncan shed the family burden and move to choose Jamaica overall. To choose Jamaica over all things. That is where we see it is now. That is where we see it now. But as we say, it is indeed a good look for us. It is a good look for us. Is one that we will always. Sorry, there's another video I wanted to play for you. I'm trying to find it. Just if I look a little distracting. It was a message for, oh, this is what it was, the Prime Minister speaking recently. Shook. The Prime Minister speaking recently. Yeah, it was the Prime Minister speaking recently about if it don't take long, it no good. Yes, I'm trying to find the Prime Minister. Well, give me a second. Just 1 second. It's coming. It is coming. Oh, shook. I do it wrong. This is what I'm doing wrong. Okay, remove this. Sorry, remember me telling this, I'm not really skilled yet, you know. Sorry, TikTok has soon come. I know I go with TikTok people, but they are with me every day. I can't leave TikTok and not play the Prime Minister. As a Andrew Heights. Sorry, that one ain't gonna work for me. But YouTube folks, I've come to the end of today's broadcast. 90 minutes is good enough, and we have to say goodbye, you know. But as I said, I will not be a stranger. I'll be setting a proper YouTube schedule. For sure, I will be here every Saturday and most Mondays. I think probably I'll be here in the day more than nights, as I work nights, so I'll be here in the day. So it's probably gonna be a live day show for YouTube, but we will be here sharing the information. I appreciate you all, and come again. And this is the Chuck Stop, and I am your host, the great Chuck Finley.